Hi, this is Denise M., your Area 50 Western New York, Panel 72 delegate to the General Service Conference. In this segment, I'll be reviewing the recommendations and the committee considerations of the Public Information Committee. So the first couple of committee considerations dealt with reviewing our comprehensive media plan, tracking of public service announcements, and reviewing our podcast plan and YouTube performance. The committee reviewed all of those things, made some suggestions, and asked for reports to come back to the 73rd General Service Conference, which will be held in April of 2023. Next, the committee looked at reports on Google ad performance, and we have currently been using 2 campaigns to help AA become an item that shows up at the top of the list on Get Help and Find a Meeting campaigns for Alcoholics Anonymous to increase the awareness of who we are and what we do and how to find us. They also reviewed a report on the Meeting Guide app, which had some suggestions about furthering the content and use of the Meeting Guide app, and there was a suggestion to keep the focus on locating AA meetings locally. And finally, they reviewed a report on AA.org and suggested some additional improvements for search engine optimization. The next 2 committee considerations centered around modernizing the AA Grapevine and Lavinia websites, which look very good. If you haven't checked them out recently, please do so. And also reviewed a report on paid placement of public service announcement videos on streaming platforms and did request further research. That was an item where there was background information and just suggested campaigns and amounts for different platforms. We did take a vote within Area 50 at our pre-conference assembly and why we didn't have substantial unanimity to support that. I'm noting that we did have a majority that were in favor of that, and we found the same type of majority support for such a endeavor on our delegates questionnaire for the groups, and that is shown on this slide in the pie chart. However, it was a committee consideration, and there was not voting on anything, but there will be a report that comes back to the 73rd General Service Conference in April of 2023. So the first recommendation that came out of the Public Information Committee was to retire the AA Fact File pamphlet. We took a vote on that, and the vote was 120 to retire it, 3 against retiring that. That is substantial unanimity. That does pass. It becomes an advisory action of that committee. Our next item was a committee consideration, and that was reviewing the Public Information Press Media Kit, offering suggestions to the Who Are AA members and 24-hour plan sections. And the committee did also review a request to create a new form of communication to address anonymity on social media, and requested that the survey that was provided in the background information be distributed to all age demographics and brought back to the 23rd General Service Conference. Next recommendation that came out of this committee was in reference to the pamphlet Understanding Anonymity, and making some updates to that about private and public settings on various platforms, as well as looking at how we view anonymity with virtual meetings, and that did pass on the conference floor. This next committee consideration was to review the flyer AA at a glance, and there was a suggestion to modernize the look and language of the flyer. And in addition, the committee reviewed the pamphlet speaking at non-AA meetings and asked the committee to move forward with the updates that had been presented and to bring back a draft pamphlet or a report to next year's conference. There was a committee recommendation to update some of the questions within the membership survey, which used to be a triannual survey, but that has been put on hold. Our last survey was in 2014. So we took some votes to forward that. So hopefully we will see a membership survey come out shortly. There was a floor action on the final day of the conference to have that committee consult with professional survey methodologists to address some concerns about some of the questions that were related to racial and ethnic background and employment status, and with hopes that that work will improve the questions and answers within that survey. If you have any questions on the work of the Public Information Committee or the 72nd General Service Conference, please feel free to connect with me at p72delegate@area50wny.org. And I wish to thank you for the opportunity to serve Area 50 and AA as a whole.